And let's just spell it out for you. ECHOPLEX. They put me in a fucking magazine.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my asshole bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquer divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off, I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off, read into the lyrics. Cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish Mr. Whitebeater, you're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She rolls in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. Oh, I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The fundamental put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off, I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off, read into the lyrics. So let the parties will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Everybody, welcome to the Plex. We usually do this show Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlexMedia. You can support this project by going to echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the homepage, and you can make your own decisions from there. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Like your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong like your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job, don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops.
So over the weekend, the president had his birthday party. I know, he claims it's for the military or the birthday of the army or whatever, but it was Homeboy's birthday party. And friends, it fucking sucked.
I can't feel it. I'm gonna be okay, alright. It's about that time. I need a sentimental, Let me go see you walking in my Valencia. I see you shopping all the fucking I'ma get like somebody wanna get down. Oh, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, it sucked. I got a couple more fucking clips. I didn't include, there's this one clip that I should have included, but I didn't. It was going around. I don't know if people saw it. It was that tank just fucking squeaking. But this is not great. This is not a great birthday party. My birthday party was better than that. Lots of room, somebody in chat, lots of room to dance. Here, check this out. This is a fucking ad for Lockheed Martin.
I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again.
Oh shit, is it Ford Truck Month already?
My wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Yeah, whatever. We're not gonna give you the chorus, man. It's fucking that song. Like, it's supposed to be patriotic, but it just sounds like a fucking like an ad for a pickup truck. Like, what a horrible horrible thing. Oh, that's the same clip. Hold on. They played, I don't know if anybody caught this. Oh, they played Fortunate Son during this too. I mean, like who? I mean, I guess shout out to the DJ because like, like talk about not reading the fucking moment, right? Like absolutely talk about not being able to read the moment. And of course, these wonderful websites we use for this live show is not doing so great. So I guess we'll just play it here. Nobody edited this in. This is just from the thing. They're not. Look, they're just strolling. They're not even like marching in lockstep. Look, they're just kind of walking. Like I thought these people were supposed to be able to like, but I thought they were supposed to fucking march, but they're just kind of walking. Oh man. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Up next. Wait, maybe we do have it. I do have it. Here's the one that everybody saw. This is the squeaking tank. Nobody cheering, no music, just a squeaky tank. Fantastic. Fucking fantastic. And we got one more. We got one more here. Of course, you got to sing happy birthday and present the dear leader with a gift. What else would you do?
This flag, which was flown over our nation's capital in free fall during the Army's 250th birthday celebration.
Man, this dude wants so fucking badly to be like some kind of military dictator, and he's just like not good at it. So, even the fucking Russians made fun of it, which is a little bit weird. Like, a lot of shitlibs probably would be like, well, why would the Russians make fun of him? Well, the Russians made fun of this. Check this out. This is from Russian state TV. homies. Oh man, Trump's gonna be fucking furious that the fucking Russian state TV was making fun of him. So everybody, you know how we know climate science is incorrect and the scientists are wrong? We know because the fucking weatherman said it was gonna rain on Trump's birthday party, and it didn't.
So I asked if they gave it 100% chance, right? 100% it was going to rain like crazy, and it didn't rain at all. How did they predict 100 years out and 50 years out or 200 years out? They didn't do too well, the weather people, last night.
He thinks the person who does the weather, like on the news, is the same as like a climate scientist. I mean, the weather person is, I suppose, a type of climate scientist, but they're not like studying global climate and climate change. Up next, meanwhile, San Francisco, same day, did this. I was not in the San Francisco one. I went to the Oakland one, but check this out. This is pretty cool. I think there's more people in that fucking human like word than were at Trump's thing. Ooh, little Pride Month acknowledgement there. Very nice. So that's something. So up next, we were watching footage from some of the footage from the protest for Catterday, and Steven Crowder was making fun of this because some of the people were old, right? But one of the videos he showed is this video we're going to look at right now, and we Saturday night Catterday thought, well, maybe this is an assisted living facility. This one, yeah, this was an assisted living facility. The people were leaving an assisted living facility to go to the event.
Okay. Here we come. All right, I got you. Got me? Yep, I got you. Hello. Oh, yeah. There's a protest.
So yeah, that's just people leaving an assisted living facility. Again, we watched it on Catterday, and Crowder was acting like that was like who was at the event. And like, don't get me wrong, like fucking cool if old people are out there protesting, which they were, but like it was so dishonest because he must have known, to the extent that Steven Crowder knows things. So here's Christy Nome. We're starting to call her Cosplay Christy because she's pretending to be an ICE agent this week. Here's her talking about the city of Los Angeles.
Is endorsing these kind of activities has allowed her city to be completely devastated with crime, and now she's holding press conferences talking about the fact that people have the right to peacefully protest and that they're a city of immigrants. Well, they're not a city of immigrants, they're a city of criminals because she has protected them for so many years. And so we're coming in and doing what the president has said that he's going to do, and he's going to allow people to live in a safe community again. And we're going to use the authority that he has as president of the United States to conduct these operations. And the more that people conduct violence against law enforcement officers, boy, we're going to hit them back, and we're going to hit them back harder than we ever have before. And we conduct.
But everything was fine in LA until fucking ICE showed up. Like LA's, it's got problems like any other place, but everything was fine in LA until these motherfuckers showed up. Also, I don't know if you know this, they say this anytime there's protests, right? They're going to claim that the whole city got burned down, and this is Fox's The Five, and going to be Jesse Waters, of course, claiming that Karen Bass just let the whole city burn down. Now I don't fucking love Karen Bass, but LA appears to still be there.
You were watching all of this over the weekend, had some thoughts.
Maxine, no relation. You can't blame U.S. soldiers for the violence. They're trying to lie, just like they lied about Joe Biden. This thing started on Friday, covered it Friday night on primetime, and then it went on into Saturday. And Karen had a stand down order for the LAPD. She didn't do anything. She let her whole city burn. They
let her whole city burn. They have like the city didn't burn.
Mobilize the guard.
Remember, like during the uprising of 2020, they said that fucking Portland burned down, but Portland didn't burn down. Like none of these cities, cities didn't burn down. A couple cars got lit on fire. I mean, like whatever. It's LA. Cars get lit on fire during protests in LA. I mean, way more cars get lit on fire. Like if the fucking Lakers win, than if there's a protest. Everybody, don't spit on the cops. Do not spit on the cops, because they will fuck you up.
You spit on a federal law enforcement officer, no more. As President Trump said, you spit, we hit. Get ready.
Whoa! You spit on them and they're going to crack your skull. Jesus Christ. Wait, was there a Quiznos there?
We're looking at up to 5 years maximum in prison.
You get 5 years maximum in prison after we crack your skull if you fucking spit on the cops. My fucking God. What a crazy thing to go on TV and say. Up next, Cosplay Christie makes an appearance in this news hit about ICE acting all crazy. Well, this news hit about ICE a while and out, because she was out there cosplaying like she's federal law enforcement, which is, I mean, people can make their own decisions and do things how they want, I suppose.
Sabrina Medina's home here in Huntington Park was raided early this morning by ICE.
I was shaking. I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I have never gone through this.
It all unfolded about 6. Half a dozen vehicles with heavily armed officers rolled up and came to her door.
Look out to the window and you just see like 10 men with rifles, and I'm like, whoa, like, am I dreaming or is this real?
Sabrina's brother-in-law, Armando, was the first in the home to encounter the agents.
So I was in shock, like, especially for the kids.
The officers told Sabrina to take her 4 young children out to the driveway, and they showed her this, which they said was a warrant for her husband, David Garcia. But she says her husband's name is Jorge, and he wasn't there. As one agent turned an outside camera away.
That doesn't matter. Is he Mexican-y?
Cameras showed the officers moving through the house, room by room. All the while,
raiding the gamers.
Secretary Kristi Noem was watching from the street. She would later refer to the ICE raids at a news conference.
Some operations that have been working to bring in criminals that have been out on our streets for far too long.
Supervisor Janice Hahn spoke with Sabrina's neighbors about this morning's raid.
I'm very disappointed in this government right now and what they're doing.
For Sabrina Medina, who was born here and is expecting her 5th child, the future is bleak if her husband is deported.
I'm not going to be able to pay my rent when I got to pay it. I'm not going to be able to pay my light, my gas. My husband's not here. I don't know if they're going to pick him up tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. It's sad.
Clearing the other side of the house.
Eventually, the ICE agents left Sabrina's home empty-handed, and the kids were allowed to go back inside, back to their bedrooms, unsure what the coming days will bring.
That's fucking wild, dude. They didn't even have the guy's name right. I'm not even sure, like, because I couldn't get from the context of that whether or not he's even here, like, without papers or whatever. But they just, like, fucking, I don't know. They just assumed maybe. I don't know. How do you do that? Like little technicalities like that get people released. So I guess that's good. But somebody in chat mentioned the incident at schools. This is our next story, is a news hit from the ABC 7 affiliate in LA. This is about how, don't worry, the Gestapo that comes to your school, they get parental consent first.
After an unusual and disturbing visit, several federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security showed up at 2 elementary schools this week demanding to talk to students. What happened next has Superintendent Alberto Carvalho praising school workers and demanding answers. Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay explains.
What interest should a Homeland Security agent have in a first grader?
On Monday, multiple
Oh, easy. They're going to be like, I'm the police. You tell me what I want to know. That's what they're doing.
Showed up at 2 elementary schools in Los Angeles.
First graders either don't know to be afraid of the police, maybe like the police, or are terrified of these people that came to the school. That's what they're doing.
Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. These agents were stopped, questioned, and turned away by principals at Lillian Elementary and Russell Elementary Schools, both in the Florence Graham neighborhood.
They wanted access to the students to determine their well-being, based on, according to the agents, the fact that when they entered this country, they entered as unaccompanied minors. It is well known that these students are under the care of relatives.
According to Carvalho, the agents claimed they were not part of immigration and customs enforcement.
They conveyed to both principals that the parents or the legal guardians in charge of these children had provided them authorization for access to these kids in school. That is absolutely, blatantly untrue.
These agents asked specific questions about students ranging from 1st to 6th grade. The superintendent says they arrived in unmarked vehicles and wore casual clothing.
When the principals attempted to write down details about their IDs, they quickly hid their IDs.
All parents from these schools were notified about these incidents. Ahead of the November election, LAUSD staff were trained in protocols to protect students from federal agents showing up at schools.
We wonder if this may happen at more schools, if they simply will ram through. So we are having to really lean on the principals, the workers, the teachers, the clerical workers.
So that's crazy. They showed up like plainclothes. Well, first of all, like a school, like you can't just walk onto a school campus. Like showing up plainclothes, like how do, like, people might not even know if you're law enforcement, but I think that's sort of the point. But more importantly here, like the superintendent guy said, like, what are you doing with it? Why do you want to come talk to a first grader? The idea that like the parents signed a fucking permission slip, like they were going on a field trip or whatever, is fucking absurd. My guess here is that they were looking for people, students whose parents came here or are here without papers, and they're trying to get like information about like where they work, like and whatnot. Because again, the kids don't know any better, right? Especially like a first grader, they're like 6 or maybe 7. They don't know any better, and they're going to be afraid of the cops, and they're going to do what the cops fucking say. Because like, how do you train your first grader for such a thing? You can't do that. Up next, this is my favorite clip of the week. Check this out. They had attempted to raid somebody's workplace. Check this out.
You guys understand we have a signed warrant authorizing us from a judge to be here. And here's my bag of fucks. I'm just telling you.
It goes like, here's my bag of fucks. Fuck yeah.
Apparently a judge
I don't give a fuck about a warrant. Good on. It sounded like that was like kind of a good old boy too. Good on that good old boy, and good on like any of the like the white people that like sort of intervene and talk shit in these situations, because there might be people there without papers or whatever, and if you can get the cops to focus on you, I don't know, maybe things go down a little differently. Here we go. They didn't arrest, but they detained a CNN reporter for a fucking, I think, no reason.
Flyers and posters saying
CNN?
It's time to escalate.
Wait 1 second, John. Hold on. I want to.
And that's not Homeland Security. That's LAPD.
What's going on? I hear you. Am I seeing Jason Carroll being? What happened, Jason?
I am being detained. Laura. I'm not being arrested. Correct, officers?
Did you hear what he told you?
No.
We're letting you go, but you can't come back.
Okay.
Because then if you come back, then you go.
Okay.
Okay, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, officer.
Take care. You too. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
What happened, Jason?
If you guys can still hear me, what happened was, Yes.
I'm Chris with the New York Times. We got video of you guys.
Oh, you did?
If you need it later,
thank you.
call New York Times.
I appreciate that.
I can hear you still, Jason. What's happening?
So here's what happened, Laura. The officer, I was called over, and the officer told me to put my hands behind my back, I said, am I being arrested? He said, you were being detained. I was walked out of the area. They took down my information.
Oh, I'm losing his.
And then it cut.
Right now, I can't hear you, Jason. John Miller.
The fucked up thing here is that, like, no matter what they do, no matter what the fucking pigs do, the news is going to spin this like these are violent citizens of Los Angeles. Like, it's not going to matter. There's going to be no solidarity among the press around this. This guy is going to be like, oh, well, they just made a mistake, you know? That's like sort of how it's going to get framed. Even by this guy who was just detained for fucking standing there doing his job. This guy is going to lick the fucking boot. In a real country with a real press, the press would fucking be livid about this stuff, and they would turn on the government, right? The line from the press would be the LAPD and the federal authorities are just randomly picking people up, including the press. That would be the line that's happening here. But that's not what's going to happen here. And if there's any interactions with the press where press are injured or whatever, the government, the LAPD, the feds, everybody, state troopers are going to claim that the press instigated the violent events, and the press are probably still not going to fucking do anything. They're not going to report this as well. No, none of our reporters instigated any violence.
No, I didn't. You're on TV, and now you're pushing me on live television. All right, we didn't touch anybody. You know that's true. You're okay. Thank you. I got it. So you can see, obviously, tensions are extremely high here.
Yes, because you touched the officer. Don't touch the officer.
We have video testimony. Nobody touched an officer. Okay. Obviously, massively high tensions here. These folks are tired. They are also hot. It's a long day, and it's been.
See, like, look, he's already like apologizing to them for fucking like shoving him. Like, he's already apologizing on there. Oh, it's hot out here. These people are tired. No, dude, the fucking cops just shoved you while you were trying to report on a protest.
Weak. We clearly didn't touch the officers. You're on live television, sir.
Yes, you did. We were live on the air.
Thank you so much. We will stay back. We appreciate what you're doing here.
See, I appreciate what you know, dude. They laid hands on you for no fucking reason, and you appreciate what they're. Fuck you. I mean, I know you're trying not to get your fucking head blown off or whatever, but Jesus fucking Christ, man, he's like in his 30s, like an able-bodied fucking man. He's a white man with the press. And fucking come on, dude. I'm not asking you to body slam one of them or whatever, homeboy, but Jesus fucking Christ, could you stand up a little bit? What are they going to do? Fire you from your job for being like, what the fuck are you doing? Maybe, actually. This is ABC News.
Tensions are high. That was a moment that we haven't experienced very often here. I think that there has been respect between the media and law.
Wait, no.
I think
that no, they just fucking put their hands on you and lied and said that you were assaulting a police officer when you're like, hey man, I don't know, we've been live on fucking like. When I watched the beginning of that, I was like, oh, this guy's going to fucking stand up to them. Nope. No such luck, friends. He did not stand up to them. How many bags of your shit would you like me to eat, sir? How many bags of your shit would you like me? Thank you for letting me report. Thank you for letting me do my job. Tensions are really high here. The cops, it's hot out. The fuck? Absolutely, what the fuck? Now, the Aussies are a little different than the American press. Here's a hit from the Aussie media talking about that clip we played last week and it's been going around the internet of that. When we saw it, right? The fucking Aussie journalist, a woman, was just standing there. The camera pointed at her, reporting on what was going on, and one of the fucking pigs just stopped what they were doing, if they were doing anything in the first place, turned and shot a fucking less than lethal munition at homegirl's fucking leg. The Aussie press, not the American press.
Welcome back to the show. Well, for days now, 9 correspondent Lauren Tomasi has reported on the chaos in LA. Yesterday, an officer turned on her.
You just shut the
So if you slow the footage down, you can see the officer aim his weapon, pulling the trigger while Lauren had her back to him.
You just shut the. You okay?
She has her back to him. She has a microphone and is standing in front of a camera. We don't know what was near her. We don't know what threat was so imminent it required a cop to discharge his weapon on a reporter, or whether he meant to shoot her. But it sure looks
what do you mean? Even I thought I didn't watch this before. I thought the Aussie press was at least, I don't know, maybe it was an accident. Whoopsie poopsie. Whoopsie poopsie. I just shot a foreign fucking reporter.
That to me. The incident was maybe one of three things. A moment where an LA officer so thought his life was in danger, he needed to discharge his weapon. An incompetent warning shot. Or the act of a coward. Either way, it needs to be...
I'm going with the fucking last one.
...investigated.
Oh, it needs to be... You're the press. Friend, you are the press. American government ain't gonna fucking investigate this. You investigate this.
Privilege of working with Australian media overseas, and our correspondents are amongst the best globally because they are courageous and don't pick a side. They report complex, sometimes dangerous issues and take viewers at home to the front lines of the story. Lauren is a hard-working, tenacious reporter who is always determined to be fair and balanced. She's also the best of us. You will not meet a kinder person. I get that it's dangerous to cops too. What's happened to them in the line of duty and the position they are in is horrendous. But how is it okay for your police force to be firing at unarmed Australian journalists?
It's not, but they did it during the uprising of 2020. We watched live. When we were watching like late night stuff, and I know that like this is the podcast part of the show, so maybe people on the podcast are like, what are you talking about? It was Aussies again. It was like when they cleared that park in Washington, D.C., one of the Aussie press, they got fucking batoned and shit they were like hiding behind something because fucking shit had gotten chaotic and they were afraid, and the police, like, they beat them. And like, I don't know, it's fucking super brave for them to be out there. I mean, I know it's their job, but like, I don't know, fucking stand up for your coworker. That wasn't incompetence or a police officer who was afraid. Homeboy just shot a fucking rubber bullet at your colleague for fucking, I didn't see any, I mean, even if they thought they had a reason, like, what the fuck? What was she going to do? Throw her microphone at you? Up next, here's an incident where they approached a church. I can't tell which, or this looks like the feds. They approached a church, and the people at the church tried to tell them to leave, but check this out.
From what I saw, he had been sitting already in our parking lot. We started confronting them, asking them to identify themselves. They refused to. They kept asking us to step back and telling us that we couldn't be there. This will stand in my mind where we said we don't want this in our property. This gentleman just shouted the whole country is our property.
I want to emphasize I am a mother, a first-generation daughter of immigrants myself. Who knows if this man was a citizen? They were not letting him answer any question, provide any identification. They surrounded him and started to just get ready to grab him. I have the right to be here. I do not have to listen to you.
Fuck yeah, this is how, yeah, I have a right to be here. I don't have to listen to you. That's fuck yeah. The press needs to take a little of this from the church here, right? These are church going folks, and this is probably, you know, these aren't, I have a personal relationship with Jesus and I have a tent revival going on. This is like your local church. They probably feed the homeless, probably do outreach.
The church, this is Downey Memorial Christian Church, and we are not okay with you being on our property.
Yeah, and we're told this happened this afternoon between 12:30 and 12:40 in the parking lot, as you heard, Downey Memorial Christian Church. Watch this video where senior pastor Tanya Lopez says the armed agents were dressed in plain clothes. She asked for their names and badge numbers to make sure that they were legitimate. She says they wouldn't provide that information and told her to stand back. But it's not entirely clear if these were federal agents because the church administrators say that the vests on these members of law enforcement only said police.
Oh, you're from Texas! You came all the way out here from Texas, huh? You should be ashamed of yourself! You should be ashamed of yourself!
Now, this is another video from Pastor Lopez, who filmed the unmarked vehicles driving out of the parking lot. Notice they did have out-of-state license plates. The incident
also not government plates.
Continued in downtown
rental cars
across the country over ICE raids, where federal agents have detained illegal immigrants with criminal records and others seemingly without criminal records.
seemingly without criminal records. Like the news, again, this passive voice shit is like really bad. I wonder, like, I don't know, you know, you can get those vests that just say police on them. You can get anything fucking embroidered these days, right? So I don't think that these were fucking Proud Boys or whatever, but what if they were? What if it was just some fucking dudes in like a militia or a militia adjacent group that came out to LA? Not here. I'm not in LA. I usually am not a fan of LA, but today we are all Los Angeles. What if it was just some dudes? Then what? What do you do then? When you're not sure if this is law enforcement or not, and they're coming to kidnap somebody. I mean, this is LA, dude. Fucking, there's some people there there's, you know, even some of the church going folks are, you know, armed. I'm not super excited about the prospect of gunfights breaking out, but I mean, this is how you get a gunfight. Don't worry, Chuck Schumer's on the case. He's going to write a strongly worded letter.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I just saw something that sickened my stomach. The manhandling of a United States senator. We need immediate answers to what the hell went on. I yield the floor.
Chuck Schumer's on the case. He said fucking 10 seconds about the California senator who was detained and removed from a Kristi Noem event. We're not going to do too much on that because there's so much conflicting information about that. And honestly, I've been like so busy like the second half of this week. So one of our clips from Reddit here, where a woman in a car that got stopped by the Border Patrol, a Native American or First Nations woman, told the Border Patrol to fuck off. But apparently the people that run the chaotic good Reddit forum have decided that this needs to be approved. Be careful over there on Reddit. Don't want to. I mean, you know, Reddit is what it is. It's like gamer gators who grew up. So up next, we got Gavin Newsom committed a crime by running for governor of California. God, I wish Gavin Newsom was not the proprietor of a podcast where he glad hands with fascists right now.
Please.
Have you gotten
What crime has Governor Newsom committed? A crime has he committed? I think his primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job. What he's done to that state is like what Biden did to this country. And that's pretty bad. It's the wrong philosophy.
So we're going to arrest him because he's bad at philosophy. Doesn't know the Hegelian dialectic.
Illegal immigrants, many of them prisoners. They're taking up your health care. They're taking up your space in schools. They're taking up your hospital.
They're taking up your space in schools. These criminal fucking first graders, this fucking marauding group of first graders is taking up a seat in your school that a fucking white child should be in. Like, that's what he's saying.
In many cases, they're criminals, and we have to do something about it, and we're doing something about it. I want to thank the incredible patriots of ICE and Tom Holman, who has been incredible, and Kristi Noem, likewise. And
cosplay Kristi.
The job they're doing. And it's like an unforced error. There was no reason for this. 21 million people were allowed into our country, and many of those people were criminals.
So this claim that under Biden there were 21 million people who came into this country without papers is like disputed by fucking everybody. Like, nobody thinks the number is that high. The thing with this though is you can make kind of whatever claim you want because, you know, I mean, if you're sneaking in somewhere, you don't sign in, right? So we have to use, there are people like organizations, law enforcement, whatever, uses certain kinds of metrics to try to make estimates of how many people have come in or whatever without their papers. But none of those estimates are 21 million over 4 years. That's just not. That's like more than 1% of the population every year. And that's just absurd. It's fucking absurd. This is not true. So this week, courts ruled that Donald Trump had violated the law by activating the National Guard in California against the wishes of the California governor, which would be useful thing to have happen, except that the president and his administration have been openly defiant of the judiciary. And because the reason here is that the state of our union is weak, right? There's nothing that the judiciary can do if the executive just doesn't follow their orders. There's nothing they barely have a carrot, and they ain't got a stick. And so it's all well and good that the court ruled that this was illegal, but it already happened, and like it's not going to stop this administration. If you remember, it was last week or 2 weeks ago on this very program, we were watching members of the administration talk about just firing judges because they don't like them, which is not under they don't have the authority to do that. But that doesn't mean, like if the DOJ like shows up with a bunch of fucking like FBI agents or marshals or whatever with guns and tells a judge that he or she is done, well, then what's the judge going to do? Shoot him? Anyway, we're going to play a little bit of this. This is Gavin Newsom's response to the court ruling that Donald Trump had illegally called up the National Guard in California.
Governor Newsom is speaking right now after a federal judge ruled against the Trump administration, ordering Trump to return control of the National Guard to Newsom. Let's listen.
Those cornerstones that he claimed or asserted were not met. Section 12, 406, clearly there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. It's absurd. And so we're gratified. Today is a big day for the Constitution of the United States, for our democracy. And I hope it's the beginning of a new day in this country where we push back against overreach. We push back against these authoritarian tendencies of a president that has pushed the boundaries, pushed the limit, but no longer can push this state around any longer.
No, this is all bullshit, dude. Fucking this guy, he has no credibility on this. None. He had two of the primary architects of our unfolding fascist state on his podcast to glad hand with them. That's only two that I know of. There might have been more. He had Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon, like very different in the way in which that they agitate, but they're agitating for the same thing. He had them on, he glad handed with them, agreed with them about fucking cancel culture and wokeness, and fucking just was like good old pals with them. So he has no credibility on this matter, no credibility with the people of California, no credibility probably with the Democratic Party anymore after this, even though the Democratic Party is a bunch of fucking wimps. Like, at least I think the people in the Democratic Party probably understand this. Like, I don't know what he's supposed to do, right? Like, I guess whoever the stop here, right? The thing that's supposed to stop this should be whoever runs the California National Guard says, I cannot take that order, right? I will not take that order. No, you can make that. I will not take that order. But this is like a horrible place now where we're basically hoping that people who have risen up in the ranks in military, National Guard, possibly in the Department of Justice, will say, I will not take that order. But as Trump starts to replace as many people as possible with fucking loyalists, this is less and less likely, and this is because the state of our union is weak. There are no checks and balances. There is no system by which the judiciary specifically can impose any of their rulings on the executive branch. There just isn't. What are they going to do? Write a strongly worded letter? Well, Trump doesn't read letters. He only signs them when they're put in front of him. And so nothing is going to happen here. Like, I mean, short of Gavin Newsom, now that supposedly the National Guard is no longer under the president's control and now it's under the state's control, just according to the court, though. And the court, that's just like a little paper. It's like a little thing that they recommended, I suppose. Like, short of him deploying the National Guard of California to protect the citizens of Los Angeles from ICE and basically from the federal authorities and from the LAPD, there ain't shit he's going to do. And he ain't going to do that. He ain't going to do that, right? Because then President Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act, probably, because he would say that the state of California had done an insurrection against the government or whatever. And the main problem here is that the LAPD, if push comes to shove, they're taking the side of ICE. And so this is all fucked up. And it's because, unlike other normal countries, we have a system where you elect a president And the only reason the president doesn't have king-like powers is because we sort of pinky swore on some shit, right? Everybody was pinky swearing. There was no real method for enforcement. There's nothing anybody can do. Nothing anybody can do. So we're in a position where this guy has to either fuck with everybody's money so bad that the Republican Party turns on him, or this is going to continue unless the people overthrow the government. And if, you know, as far as choices go, I don't like those choices. Like, you know, like if the Republicans kick him out, we just get Vance. That might be worse. Vance is like a more competent fascist than Trump. Don't worry, everybody, though. Everything's going to be fine. The guy who wrote the San Francisco book, this is Michael Schellenberger. He'll explain to you what's going on in Los Angeles and why.
A lot of people are upset about all of these images of rioters in Los Angeles waving the Mexican flag. If the protesters love Mexico so much, people are asking, why are they so upset when the U.S. enforces laws against illegal entry? Now, imagine for a moment that a group of Americans, including myself, were in Mexico City and began throwing bricks at police officers, smashing store windows, setting fire to government vehicles, and waving the American flag. We would not walk away unharmed. And yet in Los Angeles, protesters did exactly that.
Right, but this is so fucking mind-expandingly stupid. Most of the protesters are American citizens.
In fact, law enforcement blocked ICE agents and vandalized public buildings. And yet California leaders not only did not defend the law, they condemned those who tried to enforce it. Governor Gavin Newsom called the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops to restore order purposely inflammatory. LA Mayor Karen Bass said, "We will not stand for this," referring not to the attacks on police officers or destruction of public property, but to the federal response. She reaffirmed her administration's ties to advocates of illegal immigration and made clear her allegiance was with the protesters, not with law enforcement. Now, what's truly inflammatory is not sending in the National Guard. It's standing by while mobs pelt law enforcement with bricks and fireworks.
But this is amazing because this is what didn't happen. I'm not saying that nobody threw any rocks or set off any fireworks, but this is what didn't happen. As with 2020, the police were the ones escalating, not the protesters.
And accusing those officers of oppression. It's watching public spaces descend into chaos while calling the enforcement of laws the problem. In wealthy neighborhoods, the law is still being enforced. If you torch a car in Beverly Hills, the neighbors are going to demand that you're arrested. If you do it in...
But this is also because the fucking ICE isn't going to Beverly Hills and arresting the help. They're going to out in front of Home Depot. They're going to factories, they're going to where they call the fashion district of LA, which you would assume is where there's fashion shows. No, it's where a lot of immigrants work really hard to create garments. So they're not. That's because ICE isn't going to Beverly Hills.
East LA, while shouting political slogans, you're engaging in protest. This two-tiered enforcement is not progressive. It's segregation by another name. It creates one set of expectations.
Whoa. He's like, this is, yeah. I mean, in a way, yeah. Yeah, it's a result of years of discrimination and segregation that, yes, this is a continuation of that. Yeah, of course they're in East LA. Of course they're in an area where a lot of immigrants are doing manual labor or creating garments. Yes. He fucking has almost described the problem, but instead he's like, well, they're not going to stand for this in Beverly Hills. Well, the problem is actually you start going to upper middle class neighborhoods and upper class neighborhoods and fucking with people there. Well, now you're fucking with the money. And I don't things get very different very quickly if you do that. And the fucking federal government knows that, and they're not doing that.
for the politically connected and another for the disposable. And in that framework, working.
So wait a minute, is he freaking fucking seriously telling me that the fucking garment workers that had their place of business raided are the politically connected, and the people in Beverly Hills are the disposable? Is this motherfucker is really saying that?
People, especially immigrants, families, and hourly wage earners, are abandoned. They're the ones who walk their kids past the open-air drug dealing. They're the ones whose shops are looted and whose cars are stolen. They're the ones who call
what the fuck
and wait and wait and wait some more. Now, people sometimes ask me how California can feel so anarchic on the one hand and so authoritarian on the other. The answer is simple. It's not actually a contradiction. California doesn't swing between chaos and control. It imposes both on purpose and at scale. Now, as we saw, when the leader of China comes to San Francisco, the city leaders end illegal camping overnight. California is what happens when the state abandons its duty to protect ordinary citizens while tightening its grip on the law-abiding. California Democrats demanded people show proof of vaccination to enter coffee shops and then allowed people to smoke fentanyl on the sidewalk outside.
Oh, it all comes back to fucking COVID. It all comes back to fucking COVID. Well, you know what? I think the person smoking fucking fentanyl on the sidewalk also shouldn't get COVID and die.
They fined restaurant owners for trying to survive and then shut down gyms trying to help people stay healthy. Meanwhile, they decriminalize.
Dude, a gym is a fucking petri dish. Why do these people do they not know why rich people just have a gym in their house? It's because a gym is a petri dish. Everybody be touching things, sweating on shit, fucking maybe blowing their nose on shit, dude. A gym is like a gym is a place where you will get sick.
Theft, refused to prosecute open drug dealing, and looked the other way as cartel-run fentanyl and methamphetamine networks took over entire neighborhoods. They demanded that social media companies censored dissent, labeled truth as misinformation, and silenced critics who warned of the obvious collapse. They banned plastic straws, but then passed out crack pipes. They prosecuted pastors for holding worship services, but refused to prosecute men who beat women unconscious on public transit.
What?
This is not confusion.
I'm sorry, where does this guy, what place is he talking about?
Inversion. You could get cited in Pasadena for watering your lawn on the wrong day of the week, but not for operating a meth lab next to an elementary school in Venice Beach.
Well, those are two places. You won't get cited in Pasadena for running a meth lab in Venice Beach.
You could lose your job for refusing a booster and keep your taxpayer-funded hotel room while terrorizing pedestrians.
What? So now he's sort of conflating, like, this is dumb because your employer is the one who fires you, not the government.
You could be banned from Twitter for misgendering someone, but face zero consequences for selling the fentanyl that kills a person.
Right, but at least for now, Twitter is not enforcing drug laws.
These are the inevitable outcomes of a broader campaign to dismantle civilization. Now, that may sound extreme, but it's exactly
well, it's fucking stupid.
Happening. California's left does not believe in the legitimacy of the American legal system. It does not believe in borders. It does not believe in the equal application of the law. It sees those things as tools of white supremacy, and so it seeks to undo them. Refuse to prosecute, refuse to arrest, refuse to respond. Let the system collapse under the weight of its own paralysis. In its place, they promise a new ethic built on harm reduction, lived experience, and the abolition of carceral logic.
Yeah. So that part, I mean, harm reduction is really important. It's really important. It's the only model. There's more of this. We're going to watch more of this. Harm reduction is like the only model that works when dealing with drug addiction because it reduces harm. This guy wrote a book called San Francisco. I don't know if people know like the history of that term. They were in the 80s during the AIDS crisis. That's what everybody was calling San Francisco. It was an active choice by him to write a book called that. And he's just gotten worse. He was one of the Twitter Files guys. And yeah, he's terrible. Fuck Michael Schellenberger. He also and he does this thing all the time where he just will conflate. Like if your boss fires you because they don't want people at the, and this isn't as big a thing anymore. He had to go back 5 years, 4 years, 3 years for the COVID stuff. Yeah, if your work requires, maybe you're working in close quarters with people. If your work requires you to be current on your vaccination, that's what your work requires. That's not the government. That's your boss. There was some pressure, I suppose, from the powers that be, but some of that was under the Trump administration. This is all really dumb. Up next, we're going to go to Florida. Well, I mean, let's not. I mean, if you live there, like whatever, I hope you're doing okay, but we're going to go to Florida now. Here's a Florida sheriff talking about what happens if you protest in Florida, which, freedom.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail.
That's not violent. Resisting a lawful order is specifically a non-violent version of civil disobedience.
Very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County.
Mob rule a car?
Gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave. In our county, you're most likely going to get run over.
Whoa!
Across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital.
What?
And in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here.
So what he's describing, if this was like during a war, he's describing war crimes.
If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
Yo. So, like, I don't know. You throw a brick at the cops, you're taking your chances on that. Like, I'm certainly not telling anybody here to be doing that, but I'm not sure that the penalty for throwing a brick at a cop is that they fucking crack your skull. Like, the cops have like protective gear on. They have like riot gear. This is fucking crazy. So up next, this is in Philly. There's a man pretended to be an ICE agent, which we kind of knew was coming. And he went in car repair office and was like harassing the people who work there, which is, all right. It's America. I guess this is just footage of the car repair place. So they're like surprised that like this happened right next to the cop shop. It seems like, well, of course this happened right next to the fucking cop shop. Like, if you're doing this, the cop shop's a great place to do it next to, because then then the police might not know that you're not federal law enforcement and come to your aid if some shit goes down. Like, and even if they don't know whether, even if they think you might not be federal law enforcement, if some shit goes down, they might defend you anyway. Because, I mean, this is Philly, but those are still the fucking pigs. So up next is, I got a clip of Tim Walz. Tim Walz seems to be making a lot of the right noises lately. We'll see as stuff gets worse if this guy continues to make the right noises or if he capitulates to power. I'm getting the impression he's going to do the latter, but it would be nice if he did the former.
Well, I've been saying it, and I am not prone to hyperbole. I am prone to like popping off a little bit. I know that. But, you know, pretty like, you know, I got to see the facts. I got to do all this. I believed all along we were marching towards authoritarianism. And people were telling me in December, you know, you're overreacting. And I said, the road to authoritarianism is littered with people telling you you're overreacting.
Absolutely.
And it has just been the steady state. I mean, this is so predictable. So I would say I think we're in a dangerous time. I think we're seeing it manifest itself. The institutions appear to somewhat be holding, certainly not the Congress. They are not holding. The courts are holding better than I might have anticipated, to be honest with you, even being an optimist. And I think, as Neera said, whether they're elected officials at the national level or below that, but just regular folks starting to stand up and make the case. And so it's, I've said this, we will get through this. We have to get through this, but I think we're kidding ourselves whistling past the graveyard if we don't think this is going to get worse before it gets better. I hate to say that. And some of you heard me say that maybe before. I remain eternal optimist because I've come through the fire of supervising the high school lunchroom. And this one, though, I'm telling you, we have to buckle up a bit. But look, I'm seeing it across the country. People are buckling up. And leaders, you know, seeing Governor Newsom stand up is really, I think, hopeful.
Yeah, but Gavin Newsom and fucking Mayor Bass are also like rah-rahing the LAPD as the LAPD like abuse people. Like I said, Tim Walz seems to be making a lot of the right noises since they lost. He's even been critical of the Democratic Party and the strategy they employed during the election, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It doesn't feel like he's like building up for a run in 2028. I don't think, but we'll see. We'll see. I just, as long as it's not Gavin Newsom, and especially as long as it's not Matt Mahan from San Jose, because I'm getting some funny feelings about Matt Mahan. So here's a clip of our president not acknowledging that time passes and things change. Because of course time passes and things change, but this president just couldn't. World War II, it was just like a fucking week ago. Check it out.
Macron was a good man. I said, what are you doing? He goes, we're celebrating World War II, our victory. I said, your victory? Your victory. Tell me about that. And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us. And
like it was a whole ass different country then. That's not the Russian Federation. That was the Soviet Union. I mean, I know it's the same place, but it was a whole ass different country. Like their fucking government collapsed.
Too, and everybody hates them. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. You know, someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that, you know. He said, we lost 51 million people and we were your ally. And now everybody hates Russia and they love Germany and Japan. I said, let's explain that sometime, okay?
Oh, friend, it's as if time passes and the world changes. Yeah, like that literally. First of all, they were communists. This USSR was a communist regime. Putin wasn't around for no World War II. He wasn't in charge of shit. He didn't fight for nothing. I mean, he's an older man. I don't think he was around for no World War II. Like, this is dumb as fuck. Because this motherfucker and their whole project is like, we hate the communists. Well, that's who beat the Third Reich. I mean, he's right about that, right? Yeah, he's right that the Soviet Union was the one who beat the fucking Third Reich, but it's not the same people. It's not the same government. Hardly anybody that was alive during World War II is alive today anymore. What is he talking about? Such a crazy thing to say. And I mean, it's kind of base to tell the French president that, no, you didn't win that war. You know, the Russians had to come liberate you. I mean, that's kind of based, but not like this. Not in this kissing Vladimir Putin's ass sort of way. What a fucking crazy thing. So up next, we got a CNN clip of a MAGA guest, I suppose we'll call them, not even trying to defend Donald Trump for screening soldiers' politics for the birthday event.
A very alarming headline, frankly, from military.com, basically saying that the soldiers were asked about their political affiliation. The troops ultimately selected to be behind Trump and visible to the cameras were almost exclusively male. One unit level message bluntly said, "No fat soldiers." If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration and they don't want to be in the audience and they need to speak with their leadership and get swapped out, another note to troops said. Wow, Pete. I mean, we're screening troops for their political views?
Yeah, so I don't know what to say to that, so I'm going to pivot to the poll because this is because I do think.
No, what the fuck? You're supposed to be there defending the president, and you're like, oh, it seems fucked up to me. I guess we're going to talk about something else. And but this being CNN, they're going to like make a joke about maybe pushing back, but they're not going to be like, no, actually, you're here supporting the president. This is your role here. You are a political pundit who goes around supporting Donald Trump's actions and behavior. Will you just say that this is bad?
I'm going to give you points for honesty, because you definitely could have tried to spin it, but you didn't, which I appreciate.
You can't spin everything, Abby. So that poll is interesting because...
that guy might have just given away the game, too. This guy might not fucking be like rah, sis, boom, bah about the Trump administration. He just knows that, like, if he's like a normal seeming white guy who goes on TV to defend Trump, that he'll get work. I think he may have just given up the fucking game right there. Up next, we got a longer one. We're not going to run all of it, but this one's from the land of misfit anchors. This is News Nation. My great achievement of last year was getting my mother to fucking stop watching News Nation. I think she thinks Chris Cuomo's sexy. And I mean, like, whatever. Like, you know, whatever. But here's War Pig, Chris Cuomo, talking about Israel bombing Iran this last week, which it comes as no surprise that the events that we're talking about are all happening at the same time. Again, the people in Israel aren't stupid. They're like, well, shit, America's over there. I guess there's people protesting. Let's do this.
Tonight, it's time to forget the fringe, the feigned outrage that has consumed us. Forget about looking right and left. Eyes forward, because there is a threat to all of us, and it's right now, right here.
Okay, so the beginning of this would have been great if he was talking about the fucking federal government going rogue, right? This would be great, except he's not. Right? He's not going to be like, listen, I don't care about your politics. I know a lot of conservatives people watch this network, and just a lot of freaks and weirdos are here for the UFO shit, but we got to fucking keep our eye on the prize here, because the federal government is quickly turning this country into an authoritarian state. Nope, he mad that there's like nuclear facilities apparently somewhere in Iran.
Israel is taking incoming explosives. We'll show the picture.
Wait, no, this is like that whole thing in the Star Wars, like who shot first? Han shot first, right? This is a Han shot first.
Tonight, we'll watch what's happening. The Iron Dome has once again been largely successful, but not perfect. And we'll be hearing about casualties. We'll see what was taken out. It is nowhere near the kind of sophistication, substance, or successfulness that we saw with Israel's attack last night, what they called a preemptive strike.
A preemptive strike, that means a preemptive strike means like unprovoked. Like, you're not defending you can't just call it preemptive, right? If I'm sitting with you at a bar and maybe you're starting to act a little stupid at the bar, maybe talking a little bit of shit or whatever, and I punch you in the face, I am not defending myself. I punched you in the face. I'm not going to punch anybody in the face at a bar. I don't want to do that to a fucking bartender. A lot of my friends have been or currently are bartenders, but You can't just be like, well, I don't know, they were looking at us funny and start fucking shooting shit at them. That is not preemptive. Means you shot first.
What you're watching is how the Iron Dome operates. And I have to tell you something, having sat in Tel Aviv and watched it up close on more than one occasion, this is all happening right overhead. You see that one just hit. They can't get all of it. This is a scary night in Tel Aviv. Now, the reaction for some to say, well, this is what they get. They asked for it.
Well, no, this is what you get when you shoot missiles at another country. They fucking shoot missiles back at you. Nobody asked for any of this. I don't want this. Anybody here, anybody listening want this? Anybody here like, oh shit, great, Iran and fucking Israel are going to war. I guess that means America is going to war, and so is the UK, and maybe the rest of Europe won't go with us this fucking time. But now we're gonna fucking invade this fucking country. We're gonna invade this fucking country, and the big thing, that the big problem here is that as they cut like America's fucking soft power, there was like America was using soft power in ways to try to get the fucking more moderate people to overthrow the government of Iran. Well, now whether or not you agree with that course of action is, that's not what I'm talking about. But any effort now to undermine the authority of this government is going to be eroded, because people, when you start shooting at their country, they rally together as a country, regardless of whether or not they like their leadership. It's just what people do. So now any of the work that diplomats and spies and non-government NGOs and any other sort of fucking intelligence operations, any other sort of propaganda campaigns that have been going on to try to get those people that are not good out of the leadership of this country as they try to build nuclear weapons, now any of that's fucking completely undermined, because the people in that country are going to be like, well, I don't know. I guess the leadership of this country is bad, but also my neighbor's house is gone.
Don't forget who the other party is in this, okay? You know the expression, check yourself before you wreck yourself?
Oh, you get the fuck out of here.
The idea of any kind of acknowledgement or any kind of half-stepping when it comes to Iran is crazy. Look, we'll talk about the timing, the tactics, the what, if any, plan there is involving the U.S. or what happens next. But we've already seen in the reaction here at home, we're already in danger. Just watch the reaction to the attack on this horrible.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. No. This is no. These are not people fucking. These are no. Why are you so dishonest? What the fuck? Why are you so what the no. This is a protest against Israel's genocide in Gaza. This has nothing to do with Iran. We should be out there fucking protesting this too, I suppose. I mean, we're going to have to fucking eventually, like, the protest community is going to be like, okay, Monday is Iran war day. Tuesday, Wednesday are ICE. Thursday we're going to dance. Everybody needs a day off. Friday, we're going to protest the Trump administration's fucking gutting of the civil service. It's like we're going to run out of time to protest all the fucking bullshit that's going on.
Islamist regime, and you see the problem. I'm not calling for war. America.
You are. Well, the war already started. You're Chrysler. Well, not even Chrysler. He's fucking jacking off on his own show about it. Like, what the fuck?
Have an appetite for it. I don't know that there's a victory.
So this is amazing, because he's acting like this Free Palestine stuff, right? These protests against the United States supported actions of the Likud-controlled governing coalition of the nation-state of Israel, that now all of a sudden these people are fucking like homeboys with Iran. Like, this is like, in one way, I mean, it's obviously manufacturing consent for like the United States to enter a war with Iran, but it's also manufacturing consent for these people protesting it to be hauled off and called terrorists.
And frankly, unless you want to occupy and overthrow, and I don't think that's where the president's head is. Certainly hasn't been in the past.
No, he just wants to drop bombs on fucking people.
What this is about. It's not about wanting war. It's about recognizing the reality of who these people
are. Homie, you want war. I even if somebody else wanted war, they could watch this and be like, oh, this guy agrees with me.
Are this regime, not the Iranian people. Condemning Israel's attacks, fine. But what would be better?
Not attacking Iran. That's actually what I figured it out. What would be better than a preemptive attack on a nation that, I mean, they're not friends with Israel. They're not friends of the United States, but I don't know. Haven't they been mostly minding their own fucking business? I don't know. And if they're not minding their own business, like, then what? It's not like the fucking U.S. and Israel will be minding our own business either.
Calling Israel the reckless and genocidal regime?
Yeah, that seems genocidal in Gaza and reckless in an unprovoked attack against Iran. Yeah, this is I would go genocidal, then reckless if you put it in. Yes, actually, yes.
How? When Iran has been actively trying to get as many people to kill the Jews and Americans as they can for years.
It hasn't been working, Chris. It doesn't, they're not successful. So if the leadership uses rhetoric that's like, oh, kill the Jews and America's the great Satan and stuff. All right. So fucking what? If in one breath, right, this guy's like, oh, look, the Iron Dome here, and they don't have sophisticated weapons like Israel. And on the other side, he's like, they're going to kill us all. And you're supposed to believe both of these things at the fucking same time. It's the same old shit. My enemy is very powerful and very weak.
Years. Do these people here in power in America, groups with like real membership and real backing, do you really intend on taking the side of terrorists again?
Again? When did friends, when were we taking the side? Like, listen, man, I don't like terrorism. Like, this is such a dumb, they do this every time. This is fucking what they didn't remember in fucking after the fucking towers went down. Oh, if you don't think we should go fucking turn the sand into glass, you're a fucking terrorist. And it's like, what? They're like human beings who live in these countries who are going to die. Some of whom are going to get fucking exploded right away. But some of these people are going to die horrific, painful deaths. And in fact, some of these people are the hearts and minds that the intelligence operations of the United States and Israel have been trying to change to get them to overthrow the fucking government of Iran, which I think, if even with a nudge from the West, overthrowing that government is probably a net good, depending on what comes out of the chaos, right? But now you're not going to be able to do that anymore. These people, the people who were on your side, well, now you blew up their wife, and so they don't like you anymore. Now America and fucking Israel are the great fucking Satan again. Because of what you're doing. Even fucking Donald Rumsfeld understands this. Like, anybody, I know you probably don't want to watch it, but there was this known unknowns or unknown knowns or whatever. It was this fucking this documentary where they interviewed Rumsfeld toward, like, I don't know, is he still alive? But anyway, he was no longer in the government, and he like acknowledged that a lot of the problems in the world and a lot of the problems that the United States has, we created ourselves, and it's all because of fucking blowback.
I told you that the Hamas support was not a one-off. There are groups committed.
There are very few people who support Hamas. They are the duly elected government of Gaza, which is weird because there's also a different duly elected government in the West Bank. Even though, according to people, oh, that's the same country, actually. That's Palestine. Ask the Israelis. They haven't been able to hold an election since like 2005 or 2006 because they keep getting their shit bulldozed and blown up and shit. Like, I don't know. Do I support Hamas? Well, that's a dumb question. I think the question is, if you lived in Gaza, how would you feel about Hamas? And the answer is probably like, I don't know. You might have to get in where you fit in and fucking support Hamas if you live there.
Fundamentalist extreme ideas that may come from lots of different sources and economic and philosophical and political realities, but they all meet and intersect at the same place, destroying our democracy and culture.
That's so amazing because as he's saying this, the president of the United States is destroying our democracy and culture. I don't mean to be hyperbolic. I'm not the Orange Man bad, But it's so funny that he's saying this as the fucking president is deploying the military in Los Angeles, California, because he doesn't like that there's fucking protests there.
This is why I tell the parties to chill with the break it bombast as a sell for disruption. I get it. Disruption is the flavor of the moment, but you have to be careful with that kind of talk. Change is good. Destroying what we are and what we have is not. Pay attention to the groups funded by the Shanghai communist businessman Neville Singham.
Who? Is there a new Soros just dropped? Neville Singham.
Told you about him earlier this week. Look him up. Singham. And I'm not just talking about rogue radicals. We have legit lawmakers saying things that must be taken seriously. Representative Rashida Tlaib supporting Iran and calling Israel rogue and genocidal?
Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Almost as bad are the people in her party who sit back and say nothing. Now is not the time. Where is AOC? Where are you, Representative? You are usually desperate for attention.
What the fuck?
Why so quiet? Are you worried your fellow socialists who don't think Israel has a right to exist?
Is that what socialism is? Is when you don't think Israel has a right to exist as a nation state? He's like trying to be like, oh, well, she agrees with me that we should bomb the shit out of Iran. She just won't say it because they're socialist friends. Like, fucking shut up.
Will be upset if you speak truth about Iran being an absolute enemy? If you're a feminist, how do you not decry the fact that...
Oh, no. Oh, he's doing the fucking thing. He's doing the thing. Oh, well, if you're like, it's the same one. Oh, if you're gay, why don't you think we should obliterate Muslim countries? You know what they do to you there? They throw you off a fucking building. He's doing that shit. He's using her fucking identity as a woman as a prop in his crusade against people who have the wrong fucking imaginary friend. They've been doing this forever. Like moderates, they call themselves moderates, or even like libs. A lot of atheists do this shit. And it's like, well, I don't know. I don't think we should fucking blow everybody up there. It might be, I don't know, we could probably maybe help with this problem some other way.
Iran would jail you for how you speak, for how you dress. That they would slaughter your LGBTQ plus constituents. Now is not the time for silence or acquiescence, nor certainly any perverse obeisance to a terror organization.
Obeisance, everybody. Don't do the perverse obeisance. Get the fuck out of here.
Again. Even Senator Bernie Sanders, I'm surprised, calling Israel's attack illegal, says it hurts negotiations. What?
No shit. Wait, why are you surprised? Bernie has been good on this issue. He's like, oh, Bernie's a fucking Jew. He should fucking support Israel. No. Bernie hasn't been as loud and out there as like people like me or other like content creators or whatever, but he's a senator. Like he has, there's some decorum going on and whatnot. But why are you surprised that Bernie Sanders thinks that this is a bad idea? I'm surprised at you, old Jewish man. Fuck you. Fucking basically Jew checking Bernie because he thinks that it's fucking bad to start fucking shooting missiles at some other country.
Negotiations. Isn't he on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee?
Yeah. Well, does Senate Foreign Relations Committee mean the Warmonger Committee, the War Pig Committee?
Really think Iran is going to ever let people check their abilities? They are, I know, the senator knows this, but he's not living it with his politics. They want to kill Bernie as a Jew, as an American.
Yeah, but they can't. Like, this is like crazy. This is crazy. It's like a fucking, like if I'm walking down the street and some little kid essentially starts like fucking picking a fight with me, I'm just going to ignore them. I know Iran's not a little kid, but like when you think about the balance of power between like Iran and even just Israel, because they have a bunch of weapons that the other Western nations have given, but start putting the United States and the UK in there, they don't have the ability to kill shit.
As an infidel, they want to kill him. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to keep a deal. They never have.
Wait a minute. Weren't they upholding like that Iran, to the best of our knowledge, weren't they upholding their part? Didn't we have a nuclear deal with them and to the best of our knowledge, weren't they upholding their part of the bargain? The one that Obama signed that everybody freaked out about? To the best of our knowledge, weren't they mostly or completely upholding their end of the deal?
Tim Walz wanted to be president and vice president of the United States? Really wants to say that we've surrendered moral authority?
Yes.
By supporting Israel after targeting Iran, and that China may have the high moral ground? Are you nuts? They have a million.
These people, friend, these people they're just not nationalists, dude. They're just not nationalists. And it's really weird that you're a nationalist for another country. Whatever. I know that there's some fucking weird shit, anti-Semitic shit about dual loyalty, and I want to be pretty clear here that that's not what I'm talking about. But it seems like these people are just, they're like American nationalists, but some of them, it's like, it seems like, well, only kinda. You got to have room for nationalism for another country, I guess, which is fine. I think nationalism, all in all, is fucking stupid.
Muslim ethnic minorities, the Uyghurs, in camps in China. What are you doing? I know that you think it's a way to attack Trump, but you seem crazy when you play politics.
Tim Walz does not seem crazy, and he's a politician. He's not playing politics, he's a politician.
When there is an active terror threat against us. And don't say, yeah,
there's no act. I mean, what is he talking about? An active terror threat? As all of a sudden, now that Israel defended itself by shooting first, now there's an active terrorist threat against us from Iran. What the fuck? First of all, the nation states in the Middle East have funded to some extent terrorist groups, but you know who funded and situated geopolitically the groups that are active now? It's the United States.
Now, because of what Israel did? No. As far as we know at this point, Israel says it had to do it. We don't know why. We'll try to find out more.
We don't know. I had to do it. I had to do it. As again, I'm just thinking of two people sitting at a bar who don't get along or whatever. One of them is talking a little shit, and then the fucking other person just whoops their ass, and then the fucking bartender throws the person out for fighting back or something. Like, what the fuck?
We'll wait for the president to tell us more.
We'll wait for the president. Wait, no. Why would we wait for that? The president's going to be like, we have the best bombers.
Already know what matters. Iran has done terrible things to us.
What? Name them. What the fuck is Iran? Like, they're not our homies. But what terrible things has Iran done to the United States in the last 10 years?
One of their agents is sitting in a U.S. prison right now for trying to kill Trump.
Wait, what?
They tried to interfere in our elections. They launched ballistic missile attacks against our troops in the Middle East.
Well, what were we doing there?
They seized our naval boat.
They seized our boat. They took our boat.
Support something in Iran? Good. Support revolution. Don't support the despotic.
Does he not understand that that's what the United States, whether people agree with this tactic or not, that the United States, one of the policies of the United States, it's kind of out in the open actually, has been to support revolution in Iran. You can't blow people up and say, hey, we're your friends, overthrow the government.
Support the people who are desperate and who are oppressed.
Yeah, but now some of them are dead, and more of them are going to die.
Rally for them to fight for their freedom against a toxic Islamist horde that has committed countless human rights abuses against their own people. Call for that.
I guess human rights abuses against your own people, it all really depends on who you think are people, right? In this case, they're people when the Iranian government goes after them, but when similar people, Palestinians, Muslim Arab people are displaced and murdered by the government of Israel now, well, are they people? I don't fucking know.
I'm not saying America should go to war. It's not my place.
You are saying that. Get the fuck out of here. Anybody getting anything else other than this guy putting down that America should go to war with Iran? Or is he just telling you that you shouldn't fucking, now he's just telling you what to think, I think, right? Now he's just like, you shouldn't think that this is a bad move by the Israelis because, and then I lose the thread.
Make that case. It's my place to test that case. But you remember Mahsa Amini, the 22-year-old woman who was arrested, beaten, tortured, and murdered by the Iranian morality police? Oxymoron.
Does he not know what's going on in the United States right now? It doesn't make any of the atrocities. Like the Iranian government is bad. They're an oppressive regime. They're a theocratic regime. We're not big fans of fucking theocracy around here. Theocracy ain't great. But we're watching the unfolding of an authoritarian regime that is in the United States that is largely motivated and animated by Christian nationalism. Does this guy not fucking understand that he's complaining? Oh, this is so crazy. This is so fucking crazy.
Of all oxymorons? Why? For not wearing a headscarf. This is why AOC and other women and advocates and allies should not be quiet about what this is. This is not Israel, beating up on somebody.
Well, they shot first. Friend, they shot first. I don't know what to tell you, man. Fucking, it's almost like, why are you punching yourself, kind of?
Iranians went into the streets. We covered it here at News Nation a lot, more than most. They protested, and the regime brutally clamped down.
Oh, are you saying, wait a minute, is it bad now when... Everybody, is it bad when people go out in the street to protest and the government brutally clamps down on them? Is that bad? I'm just trying to keep track of this moving fucking morality goalpost that's happening here in this. The post just keeps moving, and it just keeps moving depending on whether or not you worship the Prophet Muhammad, it seems like.
Is no freedom of speech. They executed several protesters. You know it's a crime to be gay in Iran, right?
Oh, I knew he was going to do this. Motherfucker, stop using my fucking queer identity as a fucking pawn in your crusade against people who you think have the wrong imaginary friend. This is fucking bullshit. I'm not there. And the fucking problem with this is when this rhetoric starts ramping up, as it always does, you know what happens is that fucking people in America who are Muslim or fucking possibly Sikh, because bigots don't fucking know the difference. Those people start being mistreated, abused, murdered in this country because of this stuff. And all because Chris Cuomo wants to pretend he's some fucking friend of the gays during Pride Month. But he doesn't give a shit about that. I'm fucking cannon fodder in his fucking crusade. He doesn't give a shit about no fucking gay people in Iran. Shut the fuck up.
The punishment is flogging and execution. This is who you want to say is a victim of Israel. You know that
so somebody can do bad things and still have been unfairly targeted with violence. Does this guy know that? You can do bad things and still be targeted with violence you don't deserve.
When they first came in this regime, they used children, some as young as 9, to run through minefields to clear the ground for their invading armies into Iraq.
Oh, now we're going all the way back to the Iran-Iraq war? Dude, fucking what the fuck? Man, this is like a fucking imperialism salad.
They said they were giving the kids keys to paradise because martyrdom brings you such blessing.
Yeah, but my question is where did this information come from? If it was during the Iran-Iraq war, did maybe Iraq? Did Iraq maybe say they were doing this? Nobody ever lies about a war. War is serious business.
This is not about God. This is about being psychotic, is what this kind of extreme Islamism is. This is a regime that spends...
Man, this guy's just trying out for a fucking guest spot on the Sam Harris show from what I can tell here.
Countless dollars exporting terror across the Middle East and the globe, including backing Hamas, even though there's Sunni-Shia conflict, on October 7th. And that's who you want to say?
God, we're even just going back to October 7th, fucking nothing ever happened after that.
And for those on the right saying it's not our fight, I hear you. Again, I don't know that there's any will in America to put boots on the ground in the Middle East, even against an obvious enemy, because what's the upside? You can't kill an idea. It's very hard. You got to change it. And I think the president disagrees with you. I think that he does believe that we should be invested in this situation in a way some of you don't, even in his party. Yes, he said he didn't want Israel attacking Iran, but let's be honest. The president says a lot of things. And now we understand.
Oh, now it's like he says a bunch of fucking crazy stuff, and it's just like he's a wacky guy. He's a wacky guy because fucking war pig Chris Cuomo can fucking smell the blood in the air.
Part of some, plan to allow cover for Israel to surprise Iran. We'll talk about it more tonight. And he's certainly supporting Israel now, going farther than Rubio and others did last night, claiming the U.S. was totally looped in on them. I don't know what happens next. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if there is a plan. And I don't.
He's like, whatever it is, though, I hope it involves fucking Iran getting exploded.
His latest phase makes things better or worse. But I know this. Iran is absolutely the head of the snake when it comes to Islamist terror targeting Americans. And anyone who doesn't get that.
Friend, never forget 9/11. Never forget that most of those were Saudi nationals.
Is part of the problem.
Holy fucking shit, dude. Like, I didn't even, that is the land of misfit anchors, but that's some fucking shit right there. Here's another war pig. This is MAGA pastor Shane Vaughn. But not only does is he a war pig, he's a singing war pig. He's going to sing a song to you about Iran, which is, it is what it is.
What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. Oh, the glory before the coming of the Lord. Hallelujah.
So not for nothing, people like Shane Vaughn think that the fucking end of the world is coming and everybody's going to be yeeted up to heaven because the fucking strife of some kind is going to happen in Israel. That's like some of the backdrop for this. It's not all of it. I think maybe a lot of atheists lean a little too heavy on that, lean a little too hard on that. But there's definitely a lot of that going on here. These people don't give a fuck about the Jews. They don't give a fuck about the people of Israel. They think Jesus is coming back. Now, like I said, I don't think that that's a lot of people. I don't even think like a lot of Christian nationalists really believe that, but it's not zero people. And that kind of rhetoric has been around forever, right? And if you think about it just for a minute, that's fucking anti-Semitic. Because the part they don't tell you is that the Jews that don't fucking convert to Christianity, they go to hell. So, this is not great. This is not great. And I didn't even get a moment to like make fun of the guys singing because I'm just like this week, the news this week has been so bad. It's been so bad. Like I took Saturday, we did Catterday, but I didn't have time to do the Sunday show on Catterday. I went out for dinner with my family for Father's Day last night. I had fucking shit to do today. I'm tired. I would have rather taken tonight off or this week off of the news, but look at the fucking news. Leave that shit on the fucking table. Probably better for my blood pressure. I am getting older. My God. Up next, how dare you ask Pete Hegseth this question?
So in Los Angeles, we believe that ICE, which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations in any state and any jurisdiction in the country, especially after 21 million illegals have crossed our border under the previous administration.
This number is false. To the extent that we can gather this information, no organization that is reputable that gathers this kind of information or tries to figure out how many people came here without paperwork, nobody says it was 5 million a year.
ICE ought to be able to do its job, whether it's Minneapolis or Los
I have
Angeles.
limited time. I asked a budget
And they are
question.
being-
Could the secretary please address the budget? Thank you.
You asked about the situation in Los Angeles, and we believe
Asked about
ICE
the budget.
agents should be allowed to be
asked about
safe
the budget,
in doing
sir.
their operations, and we have deployed National Guard and the Marines to protect them in the execution of their duties. Because
so you've declared war on the city of Los Angeles, is what you're saying. Don't worry, we're also going to war with Iran, so like nobody's going to even notice that we're at war with the fucking city of Los Angeles.
Ought to be able to enforce immigration law in this country, unlike what Governor Walz did in 2020. There are 17,000 LAPD, you mentioned that. There would be 18,000 if not for the defund movement that folks like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have.
So now that they've defunded the police, not by taking away their money, but not by just not giving them as much more maybe as they would have had. Like 1,000 police, it's like $10 million or more.
If
The police chief said
Mr.
she was
Chairman, if
overwhelmed,
the secretary's not
so we
going to
helped.
ask the budgetary questions, I will yield back my time if the secretary refuses to answer the budgetary questions I put before him. They're important. What training missions aren't happening? Where are you pulling the money from? And how are you planning this in the moving forward? These are budget questions that affect this committee and the decisions we're going to be making in a couple of hours. If you're not going to answer them, please let the chairman know, and I will take back my time and I will yield it back to the chairman.
Mr. Secretary, I want to just let us know what accounts you're pulling the money to fund.
Thankfully, unlike the previous administration, we've got a 13% increase in our defense budget, and we will have the capability to cover down on contingencies, which is something the National Guard and the Marine plan for. So we have the funding to cover down on contingencies, especially ones as important as maintaining law and order in a major American
But that's not the Defense Department. Like this was like so. That's not the Defense Department. No, they're not supposed to do this.
As far as training, all of the units on the ground have been fully trained in their capabilities of what they're executing on the ground.
For budgetary, if he needs to get back to the committee with the numbers, I'd appreciate it, both current and present.
Happy to submit them for the record.
Gentlemen.
Homegirl was like, if you're not going to answer the questions, I'm just going to yield my time. The problem is the people who like Pete Hegseth is like, oh, look, he showed that bitch what's up. When in reality, he just refused to answer I don't even know what the fucking question was. But it was like about budgeting. And he's just like, oh, a budget. We raised the military budget by fucking 13.5% while we're like bitching about the deficit and the debt. Fuck off. 13.5% of the military budget. It's as far away from nothing as possible. We're going back to more congressional hearings. This is Tammy Baldwin speaking to Jay Bhattacharya. I forget what is he now? He's the director of the National Institute of Health. If you remember during COVID, this guy got famous during COVID for being a crank. So this is before the Senate Appropriations Committee.
You don't deny that it reduces the amount that will be spent on biomedical research next year by an even deeper amount than the $18 billion, 40% cut already.
Right. So the way the forward funding works, right now we have multi-year projects that we fund.
Yes.
And forward funding says we will allocate the money for those multi-year projects this year rather than in the out years.
And so
in principle, in the
if it's a 4-year project, 3 of the years will sit in an escrow account and not be spent next year. Again, further diminishing the amount that will be spent on biomedical research.
No, I think the thing is that in the long run, what it does is allow you to spend more money and have more flexibility for new research projects. That's because what it says.
That's
is that
funny
the
math.
budgets,
We're going to spend less, and that allows you to spend more because we're going to spend more while we spend less. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, it's just the math. I'm an economist also.
I'm an economist also. Fuck, I didn't know that. I mean, I guess if you're a crank medical professional, what's stopping you from being a crank economist?
is it says, look, let's allocate the money this year so that next year the money isn't tied up on previous year's projects. That's in the long run. I mean, I think, as I said, I'm happy to work with Congress and looking forward to working with Congress on this. This is a budget proposal, not a final thing. I think if I had to start and redesign the system again from the start, allowing more flexibility as new scientific opportunities come up, the forward funding model allows that to happen actually more than the current model, where large fractions of the NIH budget are tied up with old projects.
Old projects? Do you mean stuff that we didn't finish?
But as the transition it really matters how we do it. And so I'm absolutely really glad to work with Congress on that to make sure that there's no disruptions.
Thank you.
Tied up in old project. When he said tied up in old projects, that kind of caught my ear because that means finishing what we started, right? That's all that means. It doesn't mean like, oh, like you're not spending money like just for no reason on some old project. I assume that you're spending money that was appropriated for an old project because like you're not done with it yet. I think that's probably what he meant here. Now we got since we're in the medical crank part, we can't do this without RFK Jr. RFK Jr. seems to just be going after all vaccination now because people were like, oh, he's just worried about the safety of the COVID vaccine. No, he fucking wasn't. Like people like us who've been like following the anti-vaccine movement since before COVID, if you could imagine that there was an anti-vaccine movement before COVID. This guy was like all over the fucking shit. He just wasn't as famous as he is now. And I guess he runs fucking Health and Human Services.
Of the people on the committee had conflicts of interest. This is a committee that we've gone up from 11 vaccines in 1986. Today, children get between 69 and 92 vaccines.
Oh, this same shit over and over and over again. People who this way before COVID, there was this fucking meme that was going around where they just had all these needles in a doll that the anti-vaxxers were spreading around. He's doing that meme.
Before they're 18. Not one of those vaccines is ever...
It's really high. Those are not all mandatory.
Those are all mandatory. And the reason...
Wait, no, none of them are mandatory. 0 vaccines are mandatory. You just have to, if you want your kids to go to school, they got to get a bunch of them.
69 to 92 is some of the brands require 3 doses. Okay. Some of them require 4. But none of them have been safety tested, except for the COVID vaccine.
Wait, none of them have been safety tested? Everybody dead, actually.
On the schedule that has gone through placebo-controlled trials prior to licensure was the COVID vaccine.
They keep repeating this too, and the reason that they're able to say this is like when there's an iteration essentially on a vaccine where they don't really change much about it. They just change something small about it. They don't go through the same kind of trials. They don't have to because they've made minor changes to the vaccine. That's what he's saying. That's what's happening. He's trying to act like they just weren't ever tested.
Idea what the risk profiles are on these products, and we don't know whether they have anything to do with the epidemic of chronic disease. Almost all the chronic disease, these are products that are designed to deregulate your immune system.
To deregulate your immune system. We don't know if they. Well, we don't know a lot of shit, homeboy.
To change your immune system for life. And we are now having an epidemic of immune dysregulation in our country, and we don't have an idea, but we have.
What is immune dysregulation? What is immune? What does he mean? We have an epidemic of immune dysregulation.
Investigate to see whether that has anything to do with it. It's one of the.
So they're going to meet on the new panels.
Wait, what do you mean investigate? What is he? What the fuck is immune dysregulation? Don't worry, we got more. Here's the Brain Trust of the United States. Going to talk about the COVID vaccine. These are our best and brightest medical professionals or something.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary, and I'm here today with NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
We're now one step closer to realizing President Trump's promise to make America healthy again.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I wonder how many times they had to practice that so they talked all one right after the other and shit. I know that's not the problem there, but like this is amazing. Well, the news this week has been bad, like quite bad. So what I've got for you, I've got a high quality palate cleanser for everybody here. This guy, I think it's a guy, looks like a man, is washing windows, and I think he's going to get stuck washing this one window. This window is going to be real clean. It's going to be the cleanest window in the world. Make him the director of HHS. If you're listening to the podcast, this is probably riveting. Kitty all proud. Kitty's like, look, I'm playing with the window guy. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh man, I'm so glad that so probably Allie Drew, right? Allie Drew probably put that in the Discord. So this was, wait, what do you mean? Sign in required. I guess I'm signing into Blue Sky. So this thing, I don't care really if people think this is cute. If I see this at Pride, I'm going to throw it in a garbage can. I don't want this thing at Pride. This thing is a cop, just like any other cop. Listen, I don't care how it's dressed. I don't care if you think it's cute. That thing, do not fucking put your fucking Boston Dynamics death robots in the fucking Pride parade. It's fucking terrible. Fucking scary. I don't know. Don't fuck with that thing. It might kill you. Up next, we got the, here's the U.S. Secretary of the Army. I watched this like 3 or 4 times trying to figure out like if this was like a as they would say in Shasta, like a fake deep, or if like there was something that I was unaware of with this clip. And I don't think that there was something that I was unaware of with this clip. Here's the Secretary of the Army.
And recruiting and retention that we have as young Americans across the country get to see all of the amazing things that the Army has done, whether it's helping with floods in North Carolina or wildfires in California, or we talked to an astronaut yesterday who's on the moon, who's a soldier, including actually going to war and fighting to defend yesterday, who's on the moon, who's a soldier, California, or we talked to an astronaut yesterday who's on the moon, who's a soldier.
What?
Including actually going to war and fighting to defend the freedoms that are that make our nation so great. We think this is going to be an incredible.
I'm sorry. What? We talked to an astronaut on the moon who's a soldier. Just fucking say, and just yeah. People in chat are like, "Do we have a moon base?" No. The answer is no. We don't have a moon base. The dude is just fucking, he's just lying. There's no, I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, I haven't been to the moon. Maybe it's on the dark side of the moon. Maybe there's been a base there the whole fucking time. Maybe Nixon put it there. I don't fucking know. So, up next, beware of the fucking theater kids. Listen, whatever your kids want to do, your kids can be anything, but no jazz hands, no spirit fingers, and no theater, because it turns them to the gay. You know that, right? That being in the theater drama class, the drama kids they're going to be the gay.
I rebuke the devil out of your mind. You were not born that way. Young man, you are a man with testosterone, and God has given you the ability to lead and be a head. He called you to be a provider and a protector. He didn't call you to be a ballerina.
So just like homophobia and anti-dancer bias.
May the Holy Ghost break your wrist again.
What the fuck?
And may he take the switch out of your walk. And may he straighten up your back and allow you to walk like a man, talk like a man, speak like a man, and live like a man. Now give God some glory on that. Number 7, Alice Bailey said she wanted to debase art and make it run mad. Be careful of these liberal art schools. Be careful of theatrics and theater, plays and shows. These are all.
But friend, what are you doing here if it's not theatrics, theater, a play or a show? Friend, you are. Come on, now this is theatrics. Come on, you can't. Well, this isn't theatrics because you're screaming about Jesus. This is theatrics.
Incubation systems for perversion.
It's just drama class. Also, again, like that seemed, I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty fucking dramatic. Y'all think that was pretty fucking dramatic? I thought it was dramatic. We got one more before we go into red light. This is Alexander. Ooh, it's misspelled on my docket. Alexander Wang, soon to lead superintelligence projects at Meta on when is the right time to have children? This is fucking. This guy's about to lead superintelligence products again at Meta. When should you have kids?
Basically, I want to wait to have kids until we figure out how Neuralink or other, it's called brain computer interfaces, so other ways for brains to interlink with a computer until they start working. So there's a few reasons for this. First is in your first 7 years of life, your brain is more neuroplastic than at any other point in your life.
Great, just fucking connect it to an Elon Musk controlled computer system.
By an order of magnitude. I think when we get Neuralink and we get these other technologies, kids who are born with them are going to learn how to use them in crazy ways. It'll be actually a part of their brain in a way that it'll never be.
What the fuck podcast is this?
True for an adult who.
Homeboy needs to talk less and drink more of this alcohol. What the fuck is going on here?
A Neuralink or whatever hooked into their brain. And humans, we're only evolving at a certain rate. Humans will get smarter over time. It's just on the time scale of millions of years because natural selection and evolution is really slow. So if you play this forward, right, you're going to have AIs that are going to continue getting smarter, continue improving. They're going to keep improving really quickly. And, biology is going to improve only so fast. And so what we need at some point is the ability to tap into AI ourselves. And so eventually, I think we're going to need some interlink or hookup between our brains directly to AI and the internet and all these things. And it is potentially dangerous and it's potentially, to your point, terrifying and scary, but we just are going to have to do it. AI is going to go like this. Humans are going to improve at a much slower rate. And we're going to need to hook into that capability. I've talked to a lot of scientists in this space and a lot of people working on this stuff, including the folks at Neuralink. And mind reading and mind control are that is where the technology will go over time. Right? And so, like any advanced technology, we have to not fuck that up. But it's going to be pretty critical if we want humans to remain relevant as AI keeps getting better.
Yo, folks, new eugenics just dropped. Yo, okay, so mind reading, this would enable mind reading, but the mind reading, it wouldn't enable you to read somebody else's mind, right? First of all, the way this guy talks about it is so stupid. But this would enable the capitalist who controls the computer system to read your mind. That's what it'd be used for. Like the media wench in the chat said, "Oh, your kids start blurting out a fucking Waymo ad." Right? This is not great. The friends, this has probably been the worst news week maybe in ever. Is this the worst news week ever? I don't think we've had a worse news week. Like for the Sunday show, I don't think it's. I mean, I was going to say it's impossible for the week in the news to get worse, but I don't know. Fucking, we'll be back here in fucking 6 days, and we'll test that fucking hypothesis, I suppose. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks for checking out the entire show. It was a long one this week. Some of it was visual, which is not always great for the audio only show, but whatever. Obviously, if you're here watching live, thanks, especially here on a day that isn't normally our day. And, made a little bit of money during the show, which was nice. We got a treasure train, whatever that is. People listening on the podcast are like, all right, I'm tuning out. What is this asshole talking about? So with that, if you're watching live, stay tuned. We're going to go into red light. And this week, actually, I have Mixie Monday. So at 11 p.m. Pacific, we'll be raiding out into my DJ channel. Again, the people on the podcast are like, what is this idiot talking about? And if you're listening to the podcast and you want to hear the rest of the show, go to eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. Sign up at the $5 a month level or higher, and you will get the entire show, including Red Light and all of our other podcasts. You get the Red Light, you get it early. I don't know if getting it early is good, but you do get it early. Anyway, this is Boomers by Periscope. I'm change the color of the lights, change the content of my drink, and I don't know. I might get wasted because this has been a little bit hard on my psyche this week. We'll be back in a few.